The emergency alarms in the Galactic Council's main chamber had been blaring for 3 hours straight. Blue lights flashed across the worried faces of 60 different species representatives as they argued about the growing crisis. Their voices echoed off the crystal walls, each trying to be heard over the others. "We've lost contact with 3 more stations in Sector 7, announced Director Mills, his tentacles waving in distress as he projected the latest data. Red dots blinked across the massive holographic display, showing the spread of the mysterious plague across their space stations. "The containment shields are failing. We've never seen anything like this before." The council members watched in horror as another station went dark on the display. These stations were their pride. Perfect environments carefully maintained for the galaxy's most advanced civilizations. Now they were turning into death traps. Ambassador Trill, with her delicate crystalline form, raised a glowing appendage. "Our best medical teams can't even enter the infected zones. The environmental conditions have become too extreme." Her voice chimed like bells, but carried a note of fear. "The radiation levels alone would shatter our bodies." From the back of the chamber, Captain Reed of the Medical Response Fleet cleared his throat. He was one of the few humans allowed to attend council sessions, usually ignored by the others. "If I may suggest something." "The human wishes to speak," announced the council leader, his membrane-thin skin rippling with uncertainty. Some members shifted uncomfortably in their gravity-controlled seats. They weren't used to taking advice from creatures they considered primitive brutes. Reed stepped forward, his heavy boots making several delegates flinch. To them, even the sound of his footsteps seemed violent. "We've analyzed the pathogen's origin. It's from the mining colony on Vex 9, a planet that would be considered a death world by your standards." "A death world," gasped Ambassador Trill. "But nothing can survive there. The atmospheric pressure alone." "Humans can," Reed interrupted, earning shocked whispers from the assembly. "In fact, we've been running mining operations there for decades. What you call extreme conditions, we call Tuesday morning." He allowed himself a small smile. "And I know someone who specializes in exactly this kind of situation." The council leader's skin turned a pale shade of green. "You're suggesting we bring a Deathworlder into this crisis?" "Dr. Anna Stone is the best epidemiologist Earth has to offer," Reed continued. "She's worked in conditions that would make Vex 9 look like a vacation spot. More importantly, she's immune to most of the environmental hazards that are stopping your teams." Murmurs of protest filled the chamber. Bringing a human into their most advanced facilities was unheard of. Humans were barely tolerated in the galactic community, seen as dangerous creatures from a savage world. Their very presence made many species uncomfortable. The alarms suddenly changed pitch, drawing everyone's attention back to the holographic display. Another station had gone dark. 4,000 lives were just lost, Reed said quietly. "How many more are you willing to sacrifice because you're afraid of working with someone from a high-gravity world?" The council leader's skin rippled with rapid color changes as he considered the options. Around him, the other members waited in tense silence. Finally, he spoke. "Captain Reed, contact this Dr. Stone. But she will be your responsibility. If anything goes wrong." "Nothing will go wrong," Reed assured them, already reaching for his communicator. "Trust me, once you see what humans are capable of, you'll understand why evolution made us the way we are." As Reed left the chamber to make the call, he heard the worried discussions resume behind him. They were right to be concerned, but not for the reasons they thought. The real danger wasn't that a human would accidentally hurt someone. The danger was that someone had deliberately engineered this crisis, and they were about to learn exactly what a human could do when pushed to their limits. The Council was about to discover why Earth was classified as a death world, and why that might just save them all. The docking bay fell silent as Dr. Anna Stone stepped out of her shuttle. She was shorter than Captain Reed, with dark hair tied back in a practical knot, wearing standard earthwork clothes instead of the expected protective suit. Several alien officials backed away as she approached. "You're not wearing environmental protection," Ambassador Trull observed, her crystalline form vibrating with concern. "The station's atmosphere is perfectly fine for me," Anna replied, checking a small device on her wrist. "Only 1.2 times Earth gravity, 15% higher oxygen than I'm used to. Actually, quite comfortable." She smiled at the assembled group, not seeming to notice how they flinched at the sight of her teeth. Captain Reed stepped forward. "Dr. Stone, thank you for coming on such short notice. Well, when you tell me there's a mystery play that's got the galaxy's finest stumped, how could I resist?" She pulled out a tablet, scanning through data as she walked. The council members scrambled to keep up while maintaining what they considered a safe distance. They reached the main laboratory, where teams of alien scientists worked behind multiple force fields. Anna watched them for a moment, frowning. Why are they working so far from the samples? "The contaminated material is highly toxic," explained Chief Scientist Glow, his bioluminescent body pulsing with each word. "Even brief exposure could dissolve our protective membranes." Without warning, Anna walked straight through the first force field. Several aliens cried out in alarm. "Dr. Stone," Reed called out, "the safety protocols are designed for species that evolved on paradise worlds." She finished, already examining the sealed containers of infected material. "You've got radiation levels that wouldn't concern a banana, pressure variations I wouldn't notice on a morning jog, and toxin levels that my liver would process before lunch." She turned to face the shocked observers. "Your bodies are amazing at what they do. Perfect adaptation to controlled environments, incredible mental capabilities, and sensory perception that humans can't match. But this crisis needs someone who evolved on a world that tried to kill them every day." To demonstrate her point, she picked up a sample container that the alien scientists had been handling with remote-controlled robots. Several observers covered their eyes, expecting her to dissolve on the spot. "See this?" She held up the container. "The virus is mutating because it's being exposed to multiple different environmental conditions. Your safety protocols are actually making it stronger. We need to change our entire approach." The council leader entered the lab, his skin shifting through worried colors. "You mean to tell us that humans regularly survive conditions like this?" "Survive?" Anna laughed, causing a few aliens to jump. "We seek them out for fun. We climb mountains with air so thin most species would pass out. We swim in oceans that would crush your bones. We eat food that would be considered chemical weapons on some worlds." She paused, noticing their growing horror. "But that's exactly why you need me. This plague was engineered by someone who understands environmental extremes." She walked to the main display and began pulling up data. Her fingers moved quickly across the controls as she explained. "Look at these patterns. The virus doesn't just kill. It transforms the environment around it. It's not a natural mutation. Someone designed this to make your habitats more like a death world." Reed finished, understanding dawning on his face. "Exactly." Anna turned to face the council leader. "I need full access to all infected stations, a team that's willing to work with me, and permission to modify environmental controls station-wide." The council leader's skin turned almost transparent with shock. "You want to make our stations more dangerous?" "I want to save lives," Anna corrected firmly. "But I need you to trust that sometimes the cure requires methods that might seem extreme to you. The question is, are you ready to let a Deathworlder show you how it's done?" The room fell silent except for the soft hum of equipment. Finally, the council leader's skin settled into a determined blue shade. "Do what you must, Dr. Stone. But please, try not to frighten my people too much in the process." Anna smiled again, this time more gently. "Don't worry. By the time this is over, you'll see that being a Deathworlder isn't about being scary. It's about being strong enough to protect those who need it." She turned back to her work, already forming plans. Behind her, Captain Reed noticed something remarkable. The alien scientists were moving closer, their fear beginning to give way to curiosity. Perhaps this crisis would change more than just their stations. "Remember, the suits aren't just for show," Anna said, checking the seals on Chief Scientist Glow's protective gear. Around them, 5 other alien scientists nervously adjusted their own suits. "I know they feel bulky, but they'll keep you safe in the changed environment." They stood in the preparation chamber of Station 7, the first infected facility they would enter. Through the viewport, they could see the station's main corridor bathed in red emergency lighting. The atmospheric pressure in there is 3 times higher than normal. Glow's bioluminescent form flickered anxiously inside his suit, and the temperature is barely above Earth's average summer day. Anna finished with a gentle smile. "Trust your suits, trust your training, and most importantly, trust me." Captain Reed watched from the control room as Anna led her team toward the airlock. Over the past week, she had drilled them relentlessly in Earth-normal conditions, teaching them to move and work in what they considered extreme environments. 3 had quit, but these 6 had stayed. "Airlock cycling," Anna announced. The door hissed open, and she stepped through first. "Follow my path exactly. The floor grating is reinforced here." The alien scientists moved carefully in their suits, looking more like deep-sea explorers than space experts. Anna moved confidently ahead, carrying her equipment with ease. Her only concession to the environment was a light breathing mask, more for analyzing air samples than protection. "First body," she called out, kneeling beside a fallen station worker. The aliens tensed, but their suits held firm against the increased pressure. Same symptoms as the others. Cellular breakdown from rapid environmental changes. Glow moved forward to scan the body, his movements becoming more confident. "Dr. Stone, look at this. The changes started from within, not from external exposure." "Good catch," Anna said, and despite their suits, the team could hear the pride in her voice. This wasn't just an infection. The victims' own bodies were transformed into environmental generators. A distant crash echoed through the station. Everyone froze. "We're not alone here," Anna said quietly. "Everyone remember your emergency protocols. Form up, backs together." The team moved into a circular formation, just as they had practiced. Another crash, closer this time. "Security cameras are down in that section." Reed's voice crackled through their comms. "Whatever's making that noise is in the maintenance tunnels." Anna checked her wrist device. Environmental readings are spiking. Someone's manually adjusting the station controls. She looked at her team. "This is what we trained for. We're going to the control room." They moved through the station, passing more victims. Each body showed signs of the same internal transformation. But something was different here. "These deaths are recent," Anna observed. "Within the last few hours. The other station's victims died days ago. Someone's still actively testing the virus here." Glow realized, his glow pulsing with alarm. They reached the control room door. Anna noticed tool marks around the lock. Someone forced their way in. "Stand back." She pulled a small device from her belt and attached it to the door. The lock sparked and released. "Maintenance override," she explained. "Standard human engineering tool. Because things break a lot more often on Earth." The door slid open, revealing a scene of chaos. Screens flickered with warning messages, and in the center of the room stood a figure in an environmental suit different from theirs. "Don't move," Anna commanded, but the figure ran for a side exit. Without hesitation, Anna sprinted after them, moving faster than the aliens thought possible in the high-pressure environment. The suspect reached for something on their belt. Anna tackled them, both rolling across the floor. There was a brief struggle, then Anna stood, holding the suspect's arm firmly. "Got you," she said, then looked closer at the device they'd been reaching for. "Team, secure that control panel. Now." Glow moved quickly, his trained instincts taking over. On the panel, a countdown was running. "It's set to vent the station's atmosphere into space." "Not just that," Anna said, examining the device she'd taken from the suspect. "They're carrying more virus samples. This wasn't just a test site. It's a distribution center. She turned to her captive. You're going to tell us everything. But first, she reached up and unsealed their helmet, revealing a face that made the alien scientists gasp in shock. You're one of the Council's own security officers, Glow said in disbelief. The real question, Anna added grimly, is how many more of you are there? The suspect just smiled, and across the station, more alarms began to sound. The Council emergency chamber erupted into chaos when Anna presented her evidence. The captured security officer, now identified as Agent Black, sat in a containment field while holograms displayed his communications with other conspirators. A group called Evolution's Truth is behind the plague, Anna explained, standing steady despite the increasing gravity fluctuations caused by the Council members' agitation. They believe that advanced species have become too soft by living in perfectly controlled environments. Captain Reed stepped forward. We found similar messages in other infected stations. They're not just killing people, they're trying to prove a point. A point. Ambassador Trill's crystalline form vibrated with anger. Thousands are dead. 17 more stations have reported outbreaks in the last hour. Anna continued, pulling up a new map. Red warning lights spread across it like a rash. The virus is evolving faster than we predicted, but now we know why. She pointed to specific data streams. It's not random mutation. They designed it to adapt to our countermeasures. The Council leader's skin had turned a deep purple with distress. How many of our own people are involved? At least one person on each infected station, Anna replied. They needed inside access to override environmental controls and security systems. Agent Black's data shows at least 30 confirmed members, but there could be more. Chief Scientist Glow, who had earned the right to attend high-level meetings after his brave work on Station 7, raised his glowing appendage. Dr. Stone, tell them what you discovered about the virus's design. Anna nodded grimly. The virus wasn't created by accident. It's based on bacterial strains found only in extreme environments, the kind humans call home. Someone studied Earth's deadliest regions and turned them into a weapon. The chamber fell silent. Even the usual background hum of life support systems seemed muted. They used human worlds as inspiration. The Council leader's skin paled. But the only ones with access to that research were the same people you tasked with studying Earth when humans first joined the galactic community. Anna finished. Your own scientists turned their fear of Deathworlders into a crusade against what they called evolutionary weakness. Suddenly, every screen in the chamber flashed red. A new message appeared. Phase 2 initiated. No, Agent Black spoke for the first time, laughing. You're too late. The primary stations are already infected. Even a Deathworlder can't be everywhere at once. Anna's wrist device beeped urgently. She checked it and her eyes widened. They're changing the virus. The new strain. She looked at Captain Reed. It's adapting to human physiology. Of course it is. Agent Black smiled. Did you think we wouldn't prepare for interfering Deathworlders? Evolution's Truth doesn't just want to prove that soft species don't deserve their power. We want to show that even the mighty humans can be brought low. The chamber's environmental alarms began blaring. Around them, the carefully maintained atmosphere started to shift. Emergency protocols engaged. The Council leader announced, but nothing happened. The backup systems remained silent. They locked us out of our own systems. Reed realized, this whole chamber is about to become as hostile as Earth's worst environments. The alien Council members began to panic, their bodies reacting to the changing conditions. But Anna was already moving. Glow, get them to the emergency suits we prepared, she ordered. Reed, help me reach the manual override. Everyone else, remember your training. As chaos erupted around them, Anna fought her way through the thickening atmosphere. Her own breath was becoming labored, the first sign that even her enhanced physiology was being challenged. You can't stop what's coming, Agent Black called out. The strong will survive, and the weak. Strength isn't just about surviving harsh conditions. Anna cut him off, reaching the control panel. It's about protecting others, something you never understood. She began the override sequence, her fingers flying over the controls even as sweat dripped from her forehead. The virus might be adapting to humans, but she had one advantage the terrorists hadn't counted on. She wasn't fighting for herself. As the chamber's conditions continued to deteriorate, Anna knew they were now in a race against time. The virus was loose in the primary stations, evolving to attack even humans, and somewhere out there, more members of Evolution's Truth were watching. The real test was just beginning. Anna's hands shook as she examined her blood sample under the microscope. 3 days had passed since the council chamber incident, and even her enhanced immune system was showing signs of strain. The new virus was exactly what she'd feared, a pathogen designed to target the very adaptations that made humans strong. "You should rest," Chief Scientist Glow said, his bioluminescence dimmed with worry. He floated in his protective suit, now a permanent necessity as most stations' environments had become too hostile for his species. "No time," Anna coughed, wiping sweat from her forehead. "The virus is mutating faster than ever. Look at this." She pointed to the screen showing live data from infected stations. "It's not just changing the environment anymore. It's creating entirely new atmospheric conditions." Captain Reed entered the lab, his face grim. "We lost Station 12. And the tracking system found something. All the virus strains are being controlled from one source." He projected a hologram of a familiar planet. "Vex 9. The mining colony," Anna breathed. It wasn't just the source of the original strain. They're still there, directing the mutations. Evolution's Truth chose it for a reason, Reed explained. "The atmospheric conditions are so extreme that most rescue teams can't even approach the planet. They thought they were safe there." Anna stood up, steadying herself against the lab bench. "They didn't count on having a Deathworlder who's already been there." She looked at her shaking hands. "Even if this new strain is affecting me." "Dr. Stone." Glow moved closer, concern pulsing through his light patterns. "Your body temperature is dangerously high. The virus is targeting your enhanced metabolism. If you push too hard." "If I don't push," Anna cut him off, "billions will die. The virus won't stop at the stations. Evolution's Truth wants to reshape the entire galaxy into a death world." She pulled up more data. "And I think I know why they chose now to start Phase 2. The lab's main screen filled with astronomical charts. Vex 9 is approaching its solar maximum. The radiation levels will triple within days. Even most humans would find it lethal. They're planning to release the final strain during the solar storm," Reed realized. "The radiation will accelerate its mutation rate exponentially." Anna nodded, then doubled over in another coughing fit. When she straightened, there was blood on her hand. "We have to stop them before that happens. And I know how." She pulled up the virus's molecular structure. "Look at its base pattern. They used human DNA as a template, specifically the parts that give us our environmental resistance. If we can get to their lab, I can use my own DNA to create an antivirus." "But you're already infected," Glow protested. "And the solar storm will make it nearly impossible to reach the surface." Anna finished. "That's why it has to be me. I'm the only one whose body might survive both the virus and the radiation long enough to finish this." The lab fell silent except for the hum of equipment and Anna's labored breathing. Finally, Reed spoke. "The Council won't approve this mission. The risk is too high." Anna laughed, though it turned into another cough. "Good thing I don't need their approval. I just need a ship and my team." She looked at Glow. "Are you with me?" The alien scientist's glow pulsed brightly. "You taught us that strength isn't just about survival. We're with you." "Besides," Reed added with a grim smile, "someone needs to fly the ship. And I've been wanting to see this infamous mining colony for myself." Anna began gathering equipment, her movements determined despite her weakening body. Evolution's truth thinks that suffering makes species stronger. They're wrong. What makes us strong is what we're willing to endure for others. She looked out the lab window at the stars, knowing that somewhere out there, a group of fanatics was waiting on a deadly world, thinking themselves safe from interference. They wanted to prove that only the strong deserve to survive, she said quietly. Let's show them what real strength looks like. Behind her, Glow and Reed exchanged worried glances. They could see the virus's effects getting worse, but they also saw something else. The unbreakable will that made humans so remarkable. Their Deathworlder wasn't just fighting for survival now. She was fighting for everyone. The landing on Vex 9 was anything but smooth. Red storms raged across the planet's surface, radiation levels soaring as the solar maximum approached. Captain Reed fought the controls as their ship bucked through the atmosphere. Surface temperature 150 degrees Celsius. Glow reported from his reinforced suit. Radiation levels beyond measurable limits. Wind speeds. He paused. Dr. Stone, these conditions are worse than your worst predictions. Anna stood at the view screen, her face pale and sweating but determined. The virus had taken its toll. She could feel her enhanced metabolism fighting a losing battle. But she wasn't done yet. There, she pointed to a dark structure half buried in the planet's rocky surface. The old mining complex. Evolution's truth converted it into their lab. She checked her simple environment suit, deliberately designed to allow her to feel the conditions. She needed to know exactly how bad things were getting. You can't go out in that, Reed protested. The suit's barely more protection than regular clothes. Even a Deathworlder has limits. That's what they're counting on, Anna replied, checking her equipment one last time. But they forgot something important about humans. We do our best work when we're pushed past those limits. The ship landed behind a ridge, offering minimal shelter from the storms. Anna's team had been chosen carefully. Glow for his scientific expertise, Reed for his piloting skills, and 3 specially trained security officers in full protection suits. The lab entrance is 100 meters away, Anna briefed them. The storms will cover our approach, but they'll also tear through our suits quickly. We move fast, we get inside, we end this. And the guards? One of the security officers asked. Evolution's truth believes in survival of the fittest, Anna said grimly. They won't be expecting anyone to survive out there long enough to reach them. She looked at each team member. Ready? They nodded. The airlock cycled open, and hell rushed in. The heat hit like a physical wall. Anna's suit sensors screamed warnings before failing completely. The wind threw rocks that would have killed an unprotected person instantly, but she pushed forward, leading her team across the deadly terrain. 50 meters. Anna's boots began to melt against the ground. 30 meters. 2 security officers had to fall back, their suits compromised. 20 meters. Glow's reinforced suit showed signs of cracking. 10 meters. They'd reached the entrance. No guards, Reed noted through gritted teeth. They really didn't think anyone could make it. Anna's hands shook as she attached the door override. Not just from the virus now. Her body was reaching its true limits. The door slid open, and they stumbled inside. The lab's interior was worse than outside. Evolution's truth had recreated the most extreme conditions from a dozen Deathworlds, testing their virus in sealed chambers. There, Glow pointed to a central control room. Through its windows, they could see figures moving calmly, protected by advanced environmental suits. Stop where you are, a voice commanded. Guards appeared, wearing the same suits. Even a Deathworlder should be dead by now. Anna straightened up, blood trickling from her nose. Funny thing about Deathworlders, she said. We don't like being told what we should or shouldn't be able to do. She moved faster than anyone expected, her body running on pure adrenaline now. The guard's shots missed as she rolled, came up, and slammed the override device onto their suit controls. Their protective equipment failed instantly. The guards collapsed in the extreme conditions they themselves had created. The central lab, Anna called out. Now, they fought their way forward. More guards fell. Reed handled the security systems while Glow accessed the viral database. And Anna faced the leader of Evolution's Truth. Impressive, the suited figure said. But pointless. The final strain is ready. When the solar storm peaks in 1 hour, it releases automatically. You can't stop it, and you're already dying. You still don't understand, Anna said, her vision blurring. Humans didn't survive Earth by being the strongest. She pulled out a syringe filled with her blood. We survived by adapting, by turning our poisons into cures. She stabbed the syringe into the lab's central processor. My DNA isn't just fighting your virus, she gasped. It's rewriting it. Everything that makes humans strong. Our adaptability, our resistance, our ability to survive. It's going to help protect everyone else now. The leader lunged for the controls, but it was too late. Anna's vision went dark as she collapsed, but not before she saw the viral mutation charts reversing. Her last thought was a simple one. Sometimes, being a Deathworlder meant being strong enough to save others from death itself. Anna woke up 3 days later in the Council's medical facility. The first thing she saw was Chief Scientist Glow's gentle bioluminescence, pulsing with a pattern she'd learned meant happiness. The Deathworlder lives, he said, his tone warm. Though you certainly tried your best to change that. Anna tried to sit up, but her body felt heavy. Not sick anymore, just exhausted. The virus. Completely neutralized, Captain Reed answered, stepping into view. Your idea worked better than anyone expected. When your DNA merged with the virus control system, it didn't just stop the plague. It created a cure. More than a cure, a new voice added. The council leader entered the room, his skin glowing with a color Anna had never seen before. Your genetic code showed us something remarkable. The very traits that make humans so hardy. They can be used to protect others. Anna finally managed to sit up, accepting a drink of water from Glow. The adaptations. But I thought. We were wrong about Deathworlders, the council leader said simply. We saw your strength as a threat, but strength without compassion is just violence, something Evolution's Truth never understood. He waved his hand, and a holographic display appeared. It showed stations across the galaxy, but now with a difference. Small shield generators based on the same principles that gave humans their resilience, protected the most vulnerable areas. Every major station is being fitted with what we're calling stone shields, Reed explained with a smile. Environmental protection systems based on human biological adaptations. They can withstand nearly anything that a human could. And that's not all, Glow added excitedly. Show her the new training program. Another hologram appeared, showing alien scientists working alongside humans in various harsh environments. Their protective gear looked different, more like the lightweight suit Anna had worn on Vex 9 than the bulky ones they'd used before. Joint survival training, the council leader explained. Your mission showed us that true strength comes from combining different abilities. Humans teach us how to endure extreme conditions, while we teach them about the complexities of space environments we've mastered. Evolution's Truth, Anna asked, remembering the fanatics who'd caused all this. Most were captured at the Vex 9 facility, Reed reported. The rest surrendered when they saw their virus becoming a shield instead of a weapon. Turns out their resolve wasn't as strong as their rhetoric. Anna nodded, then noticed something odd. The medical room's environmental settings were different than she remembered. These conditions, they're closer to Earth normal. Glow's light pulsed with what she now recognized as pride. We've been adapting too. Not physically, but technologically and mentally. The council chambers now operate on varying environmental settings. We're learning to be flexible. Which brings us to the next point. The council leader said, we're creating a new division. Emergency response and environmental adaptation. We need someone to lead it. Someone who understands both the challenges and the importance of working together. Anna looked at the faces around her, alien and human, each different, each valuable. She thought about everything that had happened, about strength and adaptation, and what it really meant to survive. "I'll do it," she said, "but on one condition." "Name it," the council leader replied. "We stop using the term Deathworlder officially." Anna sat up straighter. "We're not defined by the worlds that tried to kill us, but by how we chose to live. Call us adaptation specialists or survival experts if you need a term. But let's focus on what we can teach each other." The council leader's skin shifted through several colors before settling on a deep, respectful blue. "Agreed. Though unofficially, I think some will still use the term, but now with respect rather than fear." As if to prove his point, Glow's glow pulsed with amusement. "After all, when the galaxy is pushed to its limits, call a Deathworlder." Everyone finished together, and for the first time in council history, laughter, in all its various alien and human forms, filled a room without anyone worrying about protocol or propriety. Outside the medical bay windows, ships from Earth were arriving, bringing more humans to join the new training programs. But they weren't coming as outsiders or threats anymore. They were coming as teachers, as partners, and as proof that sometimes the hardest worlds created the kindest hearts. The galaxy was changing, and somewhere on Earth, another generation was growing up strong, ready to show the universe that being hard to kill didn't mean you couldn't help others live.